na, 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 na. This is the cold show coming to you weekly. Black and blue attack on the blitz look quickly. Carolina Panthers since 1995. Keep pounding till the day that we die. Protect the bank, this is our Queen City. Tell the haters ice up the 79 teams 50. JC Horn locking up, that's our seatbelt. Derrick Brown no come down, that's how we felt. NFC South is always the villains. How you gonna stop Bryce to McMillan? The future is now this our division. Carolina Panthers get ready for collisions.
Panther fans, welcome back to the Blue and Black Attack podcast. This is the Cole Show here on this fine Thursday. I am with my brothers Panther Pickle, D-Zill Skills, and D-Money. D-Money is on the clock right now. He does not have a whole lot of time with us. He always gets the first word on the show. How you feeling tonight, D-Money? Tell me what you got on your mind. The floor is yours.
Hey, what's going on, family? What's going on, my Blue and Black Attack family? All due respect to the Hall of Famer, Panther Pickle, and the greatest producer in this content streets for the Carolina Panthers, D-Zill Skills. So honored to be with everybody this evening. And the thing that has been on my mind, and it really hit me probably mid-evening yesterday, was after all the reports of joint practice. You know, joint practice didn't go as well as I guess people would have liked to or expected, as the Carolina Panthers would have liked to and maybe expected or whatever. And for me, I just didn't have an overreaction about it. I think basically for me, last week we talked about how they started off slow in the joint practice against Jacksonville, and then they started to pick it up when it got game time. Everybody has to remember, this is a young football team. And regardless of how I feel about Dave Canales at this point right now, he is not still what you would call a veteran tenured head coach in this league. First year play caller, and the offensive coordinator and so forth. My main issue that I have is when they don't come out with the intensity off the gate. But the thing is yesterday wasn't anything about a lack of intensity. When you heard from people, it was clacking, it was very physical. We was trying to get right. Our issue was execution under pressure. And the great Panther Pickle made the statement yesterday that he would rather have these mistakes right now than go into the regular season and then have to face these issues that we have. Also, my brother, what ran through my mind is us as fans and our fanaticism, we really forget our current history, or we almost treat it like it's ancient history, like it's 2015 or it's 2003 or before. The problem that we have is fans, a lot of us, is the fact that when we look at this team, we get personalized with these players. We get real invested in these guys individually. And then on the first sign of adversity, because of so much an investment so quick, you're panicking, you're franticing. And the thing is y'all remember the Steve Wilkes interim year. You remember that end of the season we got killed by Tampa Bay and didn't make the playoffs, right? Well, we had convinced ourselves somehow, I don't know how it started, but I know it came like a hurricane, that for some reason we was like a quarterback away. And we had to trade up and we had to go get Bryce. But in all truth, the rest of the league saw, most of the people saw, that we weren't just a quarterback away. We was O-line away, we was receivers away, we was linebackers away, and that was our fault. That was horrible GM, and we're not even going to talk about that, brother. We distant memory or whatever, right? I think people are looking at how we finished last year, right? And they have taken it almost like we was just a Jalen Phillips away, or we was a Devin Lloyd away from get or the Monroe Freeling or the Braswell, whatever. And everybody ushered this hope and this belief, almost like we coming in like the Chiefs when Mahomes like broke out or whatever. Like we just about to get on the field and it's gonna be snap, boom, and the offense is just gonna be so prolific and the defense is just gonna be so harassing. You still gotta go back to the building blocks, family, the foundation, and so forth. And I know for you tell me what these some of these guys have been together 2 and 3 years and so forth. Yes, but this is a new year. There's new pieces acclimated into this thing. Now, when I tell you that I didn't overreact, I truly didn't. But also in the same breath, all it did was just kind of open my eyes to the concerns that this podcast and others have had already about this team. And that's a beautiful thing about the blue and black attack. And I really want y'all to listen to this right here because it's the beauty of the blue and black attack. You have so many individuals here that are so very knowledgeable and know how to look into context clues and be able to look at how this, what was said right here, is probably going to come to fruition just because of the way that this man said it or how it goes. The blue and black attack is not just sitting here trying to feed you propaganda or their agenda or anything of that nature. What the blue and black attack is really giving you is an honest, insightful opinion about the Carolina Panthers and hope to have a little bit of fun while we do it. And to tell you, family, I'm excited for this week. We know the starters are not playing, okay? But now we get to see for ourselves as a fan base, right? This is bubble week. Sunday is execution day. Cats are going to the chopping block. There's going to be people that's going to be sitting on that bubble that you think definitively should be on this 53. And it's one last spotlight for these cats to pop. And even in their careers, not just for us, but putting something on tape for another team. So I'm expecting, yes, it might not be the football people. Like a lot of people don't like this part of the preseason. They want to see some names or whatever. But when it's your team, you're looking at the currents. You want to check to see if Corey Thornton is getting his rhythm back. You want to see if Zakee Wheatley can still just be as treacherous as he's been all preseason. Will Hunter do something this last game if it's available? Or anybody that's going to shine. Is Kuwatch going to really make a statement on Friday on being definitively on this 53? And it's a fun time. And I get it. If however you fan that way. However you feel about a player, however you feel about this team, I want you to embrace it. And don't let anybody else's opinion, don't let anybody else's judgment veer you from how you feel because this is what you see. They didn't make you love the Carolina Panthers. There was something in the Carolina Panthers that made you love the Carolina Panthers. So for whatever it is, don't let nobody take that joy from you. And yes, yesterday was rough. Yesterday was rough. But guess what? Friday might not be. It's a new day. And I know I preach this off and on. And if you've heard me on these podcasts for years now, telling you that there is light at the end of the tunnel, that we're going in the right direction. And I'm doing it one more time for the simple fact that we are in the right direction. And you don't get to where you need to be without some adversity. Now, let's be quite honest. The Houston Texans defensive line is its own version of the Monstars from Space Jam. Okay? We got an offensive line where we're trying to figure out what works right now. I was not surprised that they was running free like they was. Or Monroe Freeling was getting used like he was. Daggone, did you see Danielle Hunter? Did you see that guy? I don't know many offensive linemen that's gonna have a great success ratio against that mammoth of a man. And then Will Anderson. Like, gee, that man was not birthed. No disrespect to him because I don't want him knocking at my door, but that man was not birthed. He was made. That's in a lab. They put some stuff together and they mixed it together, and you got a Will Anderson. And what's scary is that I think he's a junior. My God, I want to see senior,
I don't
and I
know.
want to know why senior was not in the league. My God, people. All I'm saying is we expect more because of our investment. But don't let when we have a hard day and adversity come deter us from what we really are and what the goal is. Put it like this: you go to work, you could have the most horrific and just pathetic ass day. You ain't quitting your job unless you don't want to eat. All right. So, with that being said, yeah, we're gonna have some bumpy roads in this. We are. We still trying to figure stuff out. We still have holes. Let me say that again. For just not to temper your expectations, but for you to have a little bit of reality in this. We still have holes. And we're trying to figure out right now how to veer away from the weaknesses and focus on the strengths so that the weaknesses we do have do not kill us when we play the Chicago Bears and then turn around and play the Atlanta Falcons and then got to face with the Cleveland Browns and so forth and so forth. We are still in the right trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
And as sad as I hate to say it, as sad as I hate to say it, we are on brand, people. This is what we do. This is the Canales era so far. Preseason, treacherous, slow start. I'm just praying, I'm just trusting, and I'm just believing that maybe even though we had a horrific preseason, we start off a little bit faster than we have. And that's not saying running on this major winning streak, even though if we did, I'm going to take it. Most importantly, I feel like we're coming in with a different focus. And if we can just eliminate coming out flat and give effort on every game, we don't have nothing to worry about. And I know I took up a lot of time,
No,
and I
you
know y'all
didn't.
want to get to some great football content, and Cole, D's, and Pickle are about to give you the best football content on these YouTube streets. I love every single one of you. And if you ain't with us now, you ain't welcome to the parade. Key pound.
D Money, thank you for joining us on your busy work schedule, brother. I always appreciate it. It always sets the tone for this program and it gets us going in the right direction. Diesel Skills, just to kind of go with what he was talking about, and he hit the docket perfectly talking about the joint practices. How'd you come away feeling from that?
Well, disappointed at first, because we're not getting to watch this. We're not beat reporters. We're not at the practice field. We're not seeing what goes down, and we're only getting glimpses of what's happening and what we're told is happening. And we're getting told what's happening through somebody else's eyes. We're not even seeing video of most of it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I was in the dumps about it. I was like, oh, man, what we got going on? Something's going on, and Pickles in my ear. He's like, this ain't smart. Whatever they're doing is dumb. And I'm like, man, Pickle might be right. This ain't looking too hot. I don't know what's going on out here. Don't sound like a good practice, And I'm thinking, Dave said if we didn't get the reps in, we'd play Friday. I was like, well, maybe we're going to play Friday. We'll get to see a series from the offensive starters to make this thing right. And I had something in the back of my mind tugging at me, and it was what D-Money was saying, how good this Texans defensive line is. They absolutely are the Monstars. Yeah, they are. And our offensive line doesn't have any continuity. These guys didn't play together last year. I don't think anybody on this offensive line played together last year as much time as Hunt missed. It's hard to even say that him and the guards played together, because Hunt missed a ton of time last year. So I had to really digest it and think about what was going on. And I was a lot like Pickle. It took the presser for me to really understand what had transpired. And it even took the presser from Bryce Young for me to understand what had transpired out there on the practice field. Because what was stated online was that it was a welcome to the NFL moment.
For sure.
Welcome to the NFL moment. And that rung that resonated with me and that stuck with me. And I kept thinking about that and looking at that. And I was like, well, why would Canales let a welcome to the NFL moment could happen? And then it dawned on me. The light went off. The light bulb come on finally, Cole. It took a minute for me to catch on. These isn't the quickest. Ain't the brightest crayon in the box, but it finally occurred to me why Canales would let that happen in practice. It was because they couldn't hit Bryce Young. They could only two-hand tag him or flag football him, whatever you want to call it, but they couldn't bring Bryce to the ground. And if you wanted to teach your offensive line a lesson about welcome to the NFL, and guess how tough and competitive the NFL is from week to week to week, as their final lesson leading out of this preseason, you do it in that practice. You do it in that joint practice where nobody can touch the quarterback, nobody's got eyes on it, nobody's got film of it. And that's where it happens. And it made sense then. It finally clicked, Cole. It clicked in my head, and I said, that's what he was doing. He was teaching the offensive line a lesson in a place where Bryce wasn't exposed or able to get hurt because it was only a touch situation. In a lot of ways, I thought it was kind of brilliant after really thinking about it hard, Cole.
Absolutely. Panther Pickle, I'm going to go to you next because you kind of put this situation to bed earlier than I did. It took me about a day. I was in my feelings about an upset, but we're over it now. It's practice. Dee's kind of led into that as well. Talk to me about this because you were the first one that said it, and then I knew that with the tight ends and chipping and double teaming, like we weren't doing anything to help Freeling. He was out there getting beat for 3 hours or an hour and a half, and it was just a great training session. You hope the game's going to slow down for him week 1 when Chicago comes in because he's not going to see anything like what he probably saw this week.
Right, exactly. And I'll always listen to the pressures. I have for a long time. I'm like D-Money and Diesel Skills. I'll generally always listen to the pressures. And unless it's a bad season, it's way late in the year, then I probably won't. But anyway, so and one thing kept nagging at me, what Canales kept saying, and we'll play him here in a minute.
Yeah.
Canales kept saying, well, great practice. He always says that. He said, we got what we wanted. I got to see what I wanted to see. I talked to D'Amico late last night to reassure what we wanted to accomplish, and we both got what we wanted. And then he went on, and I'm thinking, what the hell did he mean by it? And it got stuck in my craw, and I couldn't get it out. And, then it dawned on me. I was at work, and it dawned on me. I thought, well, that makes sense. What better way? Because I kept saying, why would you want to humiliate your offensive tackles, maybe even your rookie tackles in joint practice? And I thought, well, if you know it's going to happen. That's part of the NFL. You know it's going to happen.
Sure.
So best time to do is in a joint practice, like Diesel Skill says, where your quarterback ain't going to get hurt. Because whether you like him or you hate him, Bryce Young is our starting quarterback. And that's just how it is. So you don't want to see him get hurt. But like Diesel Skill said, and a lot of folks don't realize this. Do you realize our 2 offensive tackles have been our starters for entire training camp? Our center has been there the entire training camp. And Lewis and Hunt's only been healthy enough to practice for 2 weeks. This entire offensive line together has only been together for 2 freaking weeks.
Can't tell me their game in shape ready.
So exactly. So Canales' game plan was to, in a lot of ways, let the rookie get woke up. To let the entire offensive line know they can't just show up and figure out, yeah, we'll play good because we are who we are. Maybe somebody in that offensive line is read their press clippings about how great they are. Maybe that might not be such a good idea. So I can't sit here and tell you that I love Canales. I just can't do it. but I want Canales to succeed. I can't sit here and tell you I love Bryce Young, but I want Bryce Young to succeed. I'm a Panther fan. I don't want to start over. I'm not saying we will. I'm not saying it's on the docket.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to do that. So I want Bryce to get better. And besides all that, folks, you ain't going to sit there wherever you're at and tell me you wouldn't love for Bryce Young to win 14, 15 games this year. Well, maybe
and a damn MVP candidate.
Yeah, win the division strongly. You can't tell me you would like to shove that down a few people, that particularly online's face. You know you want to do that. I want to do that. I really would like to do that. A lot that goes into it. We'll discuss that and a lot more when we played the Dave Canales. If you really haven't watched it or you never thought about it, listen to the first 20 seconds of his conversation. And yeah, what helped me that day after was actually listening to Derek Brown. That's what helped me. So take it away.
I heard that, Pickle. I'll give you a minute or two to go ahead and get that video ready, but I kind of said it at the beginning of your monologue that although Freeling was getting beat up with 7 sacks, Bryce had 2 picks, a fumble, all this stuff. You need to see how your team's going to respond in bad situations. I was just as bad as everybody else with the frustration level, but it's still early. We got another week or two of practice. As Pickle said, the offensive line probably, of course they played together some, but the cohesion's not all the way there. A new center is huge. I think we're underselling that just because of our tackle situation. That's just as big. It's going to take a little minute for him to get going, especially with the new quarterback behind him. That's something that's taken for granted sometimes, but you got to get the chemistry and the calls and all that stuff. It's a lot of new things to learn. There's a lot of pressure with that. So, Pickle, if you got that Canales pressure, let's go ahead and jump right into that, and then we'll go into roster cuts in the game tomorrow. You're good. Thank you, bro.
It was a physical practice. It was fantastic. In 2 words, Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson. I think that's 4 words, actually. But those guys are fantastic players. That's exactly what we need to see. Monroe needs it. Rashid needs it. When we dropped back today, we couldn't really do much other than Bryce extending and getting a couple of plays going. The rush was phenomenal. And that's exactly, just the information we need to be able to regroup. The run game was fine. I can't wait to go see, All right, what a great day. Exactly what we want.
Listen to that again, y'all.
D'Amico and I, talked all through the week, connected last night to make sure we got what we needed out of this day. It was a physical practice. It was fantastic. In 2 words, Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson. I think that's 4 words, actually. But those guys are fantastic players. That's exactly what we need to see. Monroe needs it. Rashid needs it. When we dropped back today, we couldn't really do much other than Bryce extending and getting a couple of plays going. The rush was phenomenal. And that's exactly, just the information we need to be able to regroup. The run game was fine. I can't wait to go see the defensive side. Heard reports, some good, some bad, but all in all, a physical practice. Nothing crazy popped off with the guys. A couple of little extra physical plays. The guys handled it well, got right back to work, and so I was really proud of that.
How different is it for Monroe in these joint practices going up against somebody like Wilson?
Oh, it's fantastic. This is what he needs. This is what Monroe needs as he works his fundamentals, his technique, all the little different things. It just gets magnified when you play 2 rushers like this. And we didn't need the one-on-one pass rush. We got that in the natural flow of things. And so there's a lot of good tape to coach off of.
Dave, was Bryce getting a little frustrated? He let one rip off his back foot that he typically doesn't do.
Yeah.
Picked up.
Yeah, he's just competing, he's trying to make something happen. And days can get frustrating like that. And he and I kind of talked about it, 2 periods in with a little bit of football left to go in the practice, and just said, hey, look, there'll be days like this. we can make adjustments. We can use chip help. We can run the ball. We can throw quickly to manufacture, and we'll wait for those right moments because he's so opportunistic. When he finds those moments, he knows when he can take his shots and get those one-on-ones. And there'll be days like this, and you got to be patient. You got to move the ball, and you got to find those explosives when you can get them.
To be clear, you guys were not making those adjustments today. You kept to the script.
We did. We didn't script this out. It was all call it. I wanted to take advantage of another opportunity for Brad to call it against a defense like this, and we did use some chip help and all that. But again, we dropped back without help sometimes and just said, okay, let's just see where we're at right here. And they were better than us today.
Have you made a decision about the starters on Friday?
Yeah, we will not play the starters. D'Amico and I talked about that last night. Decided the amount of work we were going to get them. This practice really got the starters a ton of reps. They took about 75% of the snaps, with the 2s and 3s kind of getting a little bit of work just to make sure their body's moving and they're in the rhythm of it. But those guys will finish it out for us, and a great opportunity for them to compete and show us what they got.
Dave, what's the best way for Monroe to take the lessons here today and try to shore them up in 2 weeks?
It's just right to the film, and it's good and bad. And it's both things you have to take. As I talked to the group afterwards, these are such valuable opportunities to be able to go against a new group with a different skill set, to be able to see those things, that maybe you start to get comfortable with something, but you got to tighten up another part of your game. So he'll go right into the film right now with Coach Gilbert and the O-line, and they'll work on those things, clean it up, and we'll go from there.
What does it say, and maybe it's something that you and D'Amico talked about also, but no fights today?
Just an unbelievable job as a group, as a whole. For D'Amico and I, just communicating what we're looking for, the guys understanding. All that does is distract us from the goal of today, which is to get a really physical practice, to get as many reps as we can in different situations. We got to get the conditioning part of it. When the fights happen, it slows the whole thing down. It's like these big resets, and it's just a distraction. And so that part of it, but I also know it's really important when the coaches get together to plan on joint practices, your play style has to make sense with each other. And I know D'Amico coaches his guys really hard, and they play physical and fast, and that's the way we coach our guys. We have a physical brand of ball that we practice with, so it's very comfortable for us to be in that setting without taking it personally.
What's impressed you most about Jimmy Horn in this camp as he's battled up through that?
His growth, the natural progression of just the time on task, spending time with Rob, spending time with Keyshawn Coleman in the wide receiver room, picking up the little nuances of the concepts, and throughout that whole entire process, he's still fast, and he's still making plays for us, whether it's in our joints, our regular practices, or in preseason games. Jimmy has done such a great job. He's doing an excellent job fielding the ball in the return game as well, which is something that we really challenged him on this year. So he's taking the challenges the right way, and we're seeing improvement in the things that we've talked about. So I'm really proud of Jimmy for that.
Dave, for all intents and purposes, this kind of wraps up training camp practice.
Yeah.
What did you learn about your team that you didn't know a couple of months ago?
A couple of things. I was talking about this with the coaches, and I actually was talking with Derek a little bit yesterday. But the things I know about our group, we're a connected group. The guys really enjoy working together, being around each other. It's been since in my 2.5 years here. This is the most I've seen guys linger in the building together, do things on their own, and really connected that way. It's a physical group. This is the first time I've had to ask them to back off of some of the collisions. The physical part up front, we always going to need that, but it was the space collisions. We were getting pretty crazy for a while there before we got into the Jacksonville joint week and all that. And it just says something about the group, and nobody was complaining. It was just, I wanted guys to be smarter about certain situations. So I know that we have a physical group. And then on top of that, there's guys that have a lot of familiarity in what we're doing. So the information, the concepts, the growth, the things that Brad's adding, Ajero's adding, Tracy's adding to our different phases, we're further along than we've been in terms of just adding nuances to our core concepts. So I'm really proud of that part too.
You mentioned that connectedness yesterday as well, said it's the closest team he's probably ever been on.
Yeah. It's really important. And, first of all, the making sure we're on top of our details, making sure we're playing really good, clean football is first and foremost. But when games get hard, when things get challenging at the end of games, at the end of the season, that connection is going to matter. That connection is going to just allow you to give a little bit more for your teammate, whether it's standing next to you or across the ball. Those things really matter as you get down the stretch.
How far away is the offense right now? I know Houston's defense is terrific,
Yeah.
but it looked fairly like they were pretty dominant.
Yeah, it was pretty lopsided today, I'll be honest. I would say that in general over camp, I'm very excited about where we're at as an offense in our scheme, the variation of the run game, the actions tied into that, the drop back pass game, Bryce's rhythm with a lot of our guys with T-Mac. Xavier hasn't been out there, but with Jalen, just finding different ways to get completions. And also, I've been really encouraged by that. Today did not show that. Today there was a couple of flashes of some nice throws and catches, but that was a good group today. So again, I try not to just take it all in a microcosm, but if we want to be good, we have to be able to play against teams like this.
How valuable have these reps been for Jonathan Brooks in terms of sort of making sure he's where you want him to be?
Invaluable. The more reps he can get, the rhythm, feeling it in his body, getting hit and finding that contact balance to continue the runs, all those things are going to play in. And for JB, he's been doing this forever. It'll be like riding a bike. He'll hop right back in there, he'll get rolling. So I'm really glad that we've had the preseason games, these joint practice opportunities for him to continue to progress in the right way.
There was a report today that the guys are shopping JT Sanders. Is that accurate, and are you at least taking calls on him?
I don't have any information on that.
And then Devin Lloyd not out there again. I'm not sure what he said earlier this week. He wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Any kind of concerns that
Nope. We were trying to get him back for this practice, but he had some treatment. He had some pretty aggressive treatment. I wouldn't say like anything out of the norm of what we're just treating guys for soreness. His knee is flared up, so we weren't able to get him turned back around. I don't have any concerns for him playing regular season 1.
All right, Coach, looking at the offensive tackle depth, the top grade for the offense during the Jags. What kind of depth is the team building at tackle, and how's Reese doing?
Man, if you can think about the whole group, and we haven't had Icky and Timo out there. If you say it from that standpoint, you feel really good about the depth you have right now without those guys being in. Albert's done a good job. Stone Forsythe has done a fantastic job, a guy I've known for a long time. And we've got quality snaps out of Ryan Hayes this preseason. So I'm proud of that group, how they've been able to just carry on so that we could have a great camp. Rasheed Walker, a veteran guy, somebody that we're so fortunate to have gotten in free agency to be able to fill that role. Not knowing that something was gonna pop up with Timo, where we were gonna eventually need him to just stand in there at left tackle and Monroe step in at right. So I'm really grateful that we've had those guys.
All right, thank you, Coach. Hey, we gotta go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
D-Money, you still here with me, my friend?
Yeah, bro, I'm here.
All right, I don't know how much time you got. I'll let you hop in first on that one. How you feeling about this video? Is this coach speak, or are you really digging it?
I mean, anytime Dave talk is coach speak, so I can't never just say, judge it off of that, because everything's great with Dave when he presents it in front of everybody. But, just the key things, like pretty much everything Deeds and Pickle covered earlier, like, it seems like it was a genius move. Strain and stress and strain and stress until the muscle memory comes to there's no strain and stress when it comes to this rookie right tackle. But not just that, put that offensive line through the ringer, force them to have to join together and figure some things out, give them a lot of stuff on tape to show them what they need to clean up. Like it was said earlier also, you're not going to run into a Houston Texans defensive line every week. You're still going to run across some dogs, but you're not going to run across the monsters every week. So, that iron sharpening iron, it just happened that their iron was a little bit bigger than ours yesterday, but it still sharpened all the same. So, I mean, like I said, learning experience, some good things to take from it. I think Dave's outlook on it is a great outlook to have to convey to your team, because that leaves room to kind of, help them mentally grow with it. But also in the same breath, I just hope behind the scenes and outside of the camera, there's a little more sternness and more emphasis on the things that truly need to be cleaned up.
Amen to that. Panther Pickle, anything stand out to you with what Dave was talking about? Are you feeling anything with him right now?
No, I'm fine. I understand what he was saying. I now afterward I understand what he was doing. I understand he's not the coach that's going to yell and I'm old fashioned, I guess. I would rather have a coach come out and say, "Well, today we look like dog shit." But he's not that guy. He's not. So they knew that when they hired him, he wasn't going to be that way. That's no surprise. That's the kind of style of coach that they like. So, nonetheless, all that being said, I think we'll be fine. I do. I think we'll be fine this year. Are we going to go win 14 games? I don't think so. I never thought we was going to 14 to start with. But again, it's all a growing year, and it's all an adaptive year, and it's a year where Bryce has got to prove to the world that, hey, I'm worth that contract I want. I don't get, Bryce don't get that new big fat contract just because 5 years ago he was drafted with the first overall pick. You just don't get that. You don't get a second contract because you talk nice in the media. You just don't get that. Jonathan Mingo got a nice touchdown the other day from a third string quarterback who heaved the ball deep. And it's probably the first touchdown pass he's had in a long time. He was a second round pick. That don't mean the Cowboys are going to sign him to a long-term deal that's coming up. Anything, these players have to learn that it's not always going to be sunshine and roses. And it's not how you perform when it's sunshine and roses, but how you perform when it ain't. How do you pick your team up and come back? How do you handle the down part?
Absolutely.
When you get sacked and you fumble, how do you handle it before? Do you go, sit down on the bench, put a towel over your head and pout? Do you slump down to the bench till you slump all the way into the floor, under the ground? Or do you walk over to your offensive line and your coaches and say, come on, let's figure this out. Come on, wide receivers. Let's figure out what we need to do and learn and move forward. Let's go out there and score some touchdowns to win this thing. That's what the kind of guy I want to see. Yeah, I want to hear more than I'm hearing when they do these pressers. But I've got to understand I'm not going to hear that. So, like I said before, I'm not the biggest Bryce fan. I'm not the biggest Canales fan. I'm not the biggest Evero fan. I guarantee you that. But if at the end of the day, I want a W. And I want a lot at the end of the year, I want a lot more W's than L's. And how I get them W's, I really don't care as long as I get them. In a real game, the people this week want to talk about a real game. In a real game, you would have seen a lot more tight ends blocking. While I got this, let me tell y'all this. I want all of you to ask yourself. You don't have to ask me. If you want to ask me or Cole or D Money, you can.
Have at it.
But ask yourself this one question on Twitter, YouTube, wherever you're listening at. Ask yourself, if you have to put a tight end next to Freely to help block, I'm going to give you 4 options or 5 options. I'm going to tell which one you want to put there. Tommy Trimble, Mitch Evans, JT Sanders, Waller, or Flippy Franks. That's 5 to exactly, D-Money. Why are you going to put Tommy there?
Because he blocks.
He's the best blocker you got on this damn team. So the next time somebody says we need to cut Tommy Trimble, I want y'all to tell that person to shut the hell up.
And
go back in the hole you crawled from.
Lord Jesus, that was salty.
It was. But that's what some of these folks need, a little bit more salty in their life.
That's what I was going to say, too. Y'all are right there with it.
They had too much sugar, brother. Need a little bit of salt.
Well, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, the thing is, these young people now and these young athletes, they're more into the Care Bears. They're not into the G.I. Joe treatment. It's not a joke like, hey, you're playing like crap, son. Pick it up. No, that don't work because, see, that's not politically correct. You'll get canceled in 2026 for that. You got to be like, hey, man, it's okay, bro. Pull out your emotional crayon coloring book. Pull out your emotions. and let's try it again in about 2 or 3 plays. That's what I'm saying that my NFL turned into. And I'm a very positive guy. But the one thing I've always asked, and everybody has asked, stop messing with our football. And now you got our we have feelings now. Like,
you know what,
why is
buddy,
there
my
feelings in football now?
D buddy, you know what my my high school coach used to do? He kept a duffel bag. It's a fancier word for a book bag that don't fit on anyway. A duffel bag. D, you know what that is? A duffel bag, and he kept it.
Yeah,
he kept it off to the side. And one day I was watching from up the top of the bleachers, and I kept asking people what that was, because by this time my body had already let me know that I'm a fan of football. I'm wasn't smart enough to coach it, and what physically fit to play it. So anyway, my buddy laughed and he says, "You know what that is? That's a doll baby." I said, "A doll baby?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Watch her long enough and see what he does." And I did, and I found out if he had a player that cried a little bit because they got hit too much or didn't perform the way he thought, he would make them sit on the bench, and for the rest of that game, they would hold that doll baby. They had to hold that doll baby. He said, if you're going to play like a girl, you're going to whine like a woman, you're going to act like one. And he would make them walk around the sidelines with that doll baby in their hand.
In 2026, he coaches one game.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
I love it.
But this was back in 1984.
Oh yeah, Pickles coach back.
That's when gas was 5 cents a gallon.
You're right. That's when your daddy said, "Boy, come with me." And then you started crying before you got there, because he could pick up the board, the belt, or the switch. Then you went behind the woodshed. 2 went back here. 1 walked out. The other hobbled out. That's fact.
All right, I got a question. I do have a question. Because, this is cut week or whatever, right? Now, I'm confused with this whole Waller situation, right? And the reason why I'm particularly confused is because, like, I've watched about 2 or 3 Panther content creators do they 53-man, right? And the question comes in like your number of tight ends, right? And even if you subtract 1 to a degree, right, you still might have more tight ends than what our roster flexibility is going to kind of allow to a degree from, a lot of them. And like with Waller, granted, we want that passing threat, right? But my man is, for at least tight ends, or not even tight ends, but just football, because some tight ends have had some longevity, right? We don't know what we're going to get. We don't know if we get it for the whole year. We don't know if he has interest in blocking. We don't even know if he's a fit with the quarterback, whatever. We don't know. And we're taking that chance. And that's fine. But are we really willing to risk, like at the time, right, like gambling with Waller when we don't clearly, only thing we really know is that he torched us last year, and everybody torched us through the middle of the field last year. That was like predominantly the breakout for him last year. Like, do we sacrifice a Sanders? Do we sacrifice a development of a Evans? Do you, like, where does Flippy, where does he fall into it?
Let me show you what I think.
I feel the addition of Waller has kind of made the tight end room like a question mark of like, where do we go? Like, how are we doing? Because, and I'm not being negative, I hope Waller has a great season. I'm not taking nothing from him. But in the same breath, I'm like, we really, truly don't know what we're going to get out the guy.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And that's been widely projected. I actually did one, made a few adaptions, and the boys helped me a great deal we did one together a couple weeks ago, and then we worked on a little bit of it through the week. And here's what we come up with. Now, y'all know this is the Blue Attack Panther Podcast YouTube page, and we only have 197 subscribers. Now, y'all know we want to get 200. That's our goal before week 1, before regular season starts. Now, we ain't got but a week left. You see that? 197. I need 3 more to get 200, y'all.
Grab your mama's phone. Grab your significant other's phone. Grab your
That's it.
cousin's phone.
That's it.
Grab your
That's
neighbor's
it.
phone. You
That's
just
Exactly.
see a phone laying
That's it.
down randomly that doesn't
Pick
have
it
a lock
up. That's
on it.
it. Most people won't know it anyway. So
I just need one person to tell one person, and that trend never stops. And we'll be
now,
Nah, steal people phones, log into YouTube,
yeah.
and subscribe to the Blue and Black Attack. This is the only time that I'm condoning daggone criminal activity, and actually, it's
we're
allegedly
hacking
That's
that
it.
I'm
cell
telling you
phones,
to
all
do
that
this.
shit.
That's it. And if anybody asks you where'd you heard that from, tell them you heard
You
it from
heard it from
somebody else.
another Panther content creator that is not
That's it.
affiliated with the Blue and Black Attack.
That's it. But if y'all go down here and you click on, first I want you to click on that subscribe button.
Please.
Then I want you to click on community. My man Diesel Skills posts stuff in there all the time, and half of y'all don't even know its existence. So click on that stuff and give my man some love. He works real hard for that stuff. Now, if you go back up here and you see that right there, hey, that's my man Michi and Steve Smith. Y'all, I think Steve Smith wrote in that picture. Maybe Michi.
Looking a little more,
maybe
looking
he's
a little more
standing on a
youthful
stool.
in that picture. Deez did a good job.
Yeah. Well, on this, well, there it is. Maybe y'all can see that good enough. Anyway, maybe I'll put it on this one. Can y'all see that?
Not really. Can you full screen that whole thing? There you go. There you go. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, now we're cooking pickle. Good job.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Good job, Pickle.
Now, on this 53-man roster, we got us keeping 3 quarterbacks. Now, I thought a lot about this too. Haynes may make the initial 53-man roster. He may make it for a couple weeks, maybe even a month. But don't be surprised if they don't later on sneak him to the practice squad. Although if they don't feel, I don't feel if they need to, they won't. Or if they just don't feel like it, they may not. That's just my opinion. Injuries start falling. You'll need something. I think we're going to keep 4 running backs. I think Dylan will get the more playing time than ETN. Not that ETN's a bad guy. He just needs a little more seasoning to his game right now. I think our wide receivers are going to be T-Mac, Coker, Xavier Leggett, Horn, Michi, and Bryson Tremaine. Now, Bryson Tremaine gets it for multiple reasons. Yes, he is the slowest wide receiver on this roster. And I wouldn't have gave him that spot. I'll just be bluntly honest. But I think that they will give him that special teams roster spot because not everybody listens to Panther Pick. Tight ends, Waller, Trimble, Evans, and Franks. Franks is a core special teamer. Canales has already said that. We know about Evans. We talked about Trummer and Waller. Waller probably won't play all year. But here's the problem. You can't keep 5 tight ends, y'all. Somebody got to go. Right now, on the depth chart, on the official depth chart, Sanders is listed as a 4th tight end. And he don't play special teams that well. Can you pull up tape and find him on a special team unit? Yes. But he's not a core special teamer who specializes it. The other day, and I heard this on the radio this morning, and I thought it was real cool. And I don't know that anybody else knows this, but the 2 gentlemen on the radio I heard talking about it. Franks, during yesterday's bad offensive outing, Franks was doing all he could to start a fight. He had a towel from a trainer, and he was flipping it at a couple Texans players. The old-fashioned in the locker room, flip the towel. Then he threw the towel at a couple of them and called a couple of them some nice names. Franks was doing all he can to start a fight. Why? Because he likes that contact that way. I like that shit, y'all.
But Pickle, didn't Dave Canales talk about how Flippy warmed his heart last week after taking a hit and just getting up and being a civil individual?
Yes,
isn't that the Panther way?
Yes.
Oh no. Oh no, Flippy's getting fined.
Yeah, yeah. I like Flippy though. I do, especially on special teams. Sometimes you gotta be crazy to love special teams, and Flippy does. He likes that special team stuff, and he's getting to be a really good tight end. So he's getting to be a better tight end than he started out with. So uh, and I know some of y'all think, well, what's Sanders going to do? Well, I think Sanders is going to get cut now. There was a report that Green Bay had made an interest uh, and made a call because the Panthers are shopping him around. And what Canales said, he doesn't have any information on that. Y'all, I've watched football for many, many years. That's the coach's way of saying no comment. That's exactly what that is. So, but I think Walker and Freely are starting tackles. I think Albert Reese makes the 53, and Forsythe makes the 53 for right now.
Hold up, Pickle. No, hell no, Pickle. No, no.
Hear me
no.
out. Hear me out, my friend. Hear me
If
out.
you were 60 on that, I don't want you on my team.
All right, hear me out. Right now, other than Brady Christensen, we don't have anybody. I don't want to say better, but Forsythe, the coaches like. Now, here's my catch. Now, me and Cole looked this up the other day. July the 21st, Taylor Moton went on IR or PUP because of a blood clot. Because of league rules, if you take a blood thinner, you have to be out 90 days.
These are good facts we learned.
Now, he's already told Canales he's good to go and he's ready to come back and play. But because of league rules, he can't come back to 90 days. So y'all do your own arithmetic. From July the 21st, Moton's back in 90 days. Icky will probably be back before then. So Forsythe might make the initial 53, but he won't be here by December. And in my opinion, if they decide to cut him and move on with somebody else, as Canales said, Ryan Day, who is a veteran that they like, because I thought Ryan Day, is that what his name? Ryan Day, or what was it? Maybe it's something else. Maybe it was offensive tackle. Ryan Haynes. Ryan Haynes. I thought he was a rookie the other day when I was chatting, but he's 26 years old. He's played for Miami, Atlanta, Tennessee, and Carolina on and off practice squads. They really like him. He may actually beat Stone Forsythe out for the roster spot.
I was just about to ask you, we ain't got no other option than damn Stone Forsythe.
Well, brother, listen, if it's me, we got an option. I'll keep Brady Christensen and let him be the swing tackle, and I'd take Ryan Forsythe, tell him to go play for the Falcons. That's exactly what I'd do.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I mean, like, we have had so many years, Pickle, where we just had to take guys that weren't up to snuff out of necessity. I feel like we've gotten to the point now that we don't need to drag nobody along. Either you can get in and do some things, or you got to go at this point. We're not playing with this no more. And that's like how you felt at the day of the signing of Kyle Trask was how I just felt when you said a possibility of Stone Forsythe being.
I understand. I tell you what. In all tense, let's just act like he don't exist, and we put Haynes in there till we find somebody better.
I'm with it. I'll take Charlie Zavala over this dude.
I don't know there's much different. I really don't know they're much different. I tell you what let's do. We'll keep Jake Curhan as a guard and put Brady to left tackle.
I'll take that too.
That's what we'll do. That's exactly what we'll do. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, you got Derek Brown is a starter with Harris Hunt is your backup. Harris Hunt's got a pretty good offseason, or pretty good training camp and some preseason games. He don't show up in the stat line, but he's good at stopping the run. and he did provide some pressure the other day. Cam Jackson gets to start at nose tackle on my list, with Bobby Brown getting the backup nose tackle, because Bobby shouldn't play on the outside. I'm sorry. And the rookie Lee Hunter, gets to start at the other end with Aaron Hall back from Duke backing him up. Of course, you got Phillips and Gibson, and I kept Gibson because Gibson played for us last year. He's a solid veteran. He does play a little bit of special teams, and every time he's on the field, he at least gets a pressure or a sack. So
yeah, Gibson don't get enough love, Pickle, in my opinion.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Jones, Princely, and Incoom, and Incoom's only on this roster for special teams. Let's not shade the truth.
I like how he's been playing though, Pickle. I'm gonna be really honest. He's been getting some pressures and doing a good job.
Right. In my opinion, he's only on here for special teams.
Absolutely.
But I got to throw this out there. D-Money, you remember a guy who was only here for special teams until they gave him a chance, and he proved he could do it real good? Mario Addison was here only for special teams once.
Yeah, and Addison ended up being key pieces on the line.
Exactly, because they gave him an opportunity, and he worked at it. So, inside linebacker is a black eye on this roster, and he ain't going to give up. I got Lloyd and Claris and Wallace and Keywash. And I'm not going to lie to y'all. If I find somebody else to start, I'd put him in place of Wallace, and I'd probably dump one of them guys at D-line. Or, I'd probably dump
I think that's going to be a strong possibility, Pickle. It could be somebody off the street. You better go ahead.
That's exactly. Or I kept 6 corners, all right? And the reason why I kept 6 corners, and a lot of people, no, I didn't. I kept 5. That's right. I used to keep 6 till I recounted it one day and realized that I had too many people on this roster. I tried to cheat. So, but yes, Thornton did not make the cut. I do feel he'll make the practice squad after his injury that he had last year. He's just not looking up to par in camp. Don't mean they're giving up on him. They're meaning that they're going to give him more time to get himself right in the practice squad. And y'all, a lot of people may say, why'd you keep Caleb Evans? Y'all, how many times have you heard Caleb Evans' name in preseason or training camp say he got beat? Evans' name doesn't get called. And the old rule of football, D-Money, you remember that old rule of football? If you're a corner and nobody knows your name, that means you're doing a hell of a job.
Yeah, you an all-star.
And you don't hear Evans got beat by so-and-so. You just don't hear that. And last year he had some starts in place of some injured guys. Bo, Tebow, you say we should have put Rodriguez. Now, Jake would be up here jumping up and down screaming, hell yeah, he'd agree with you. And I like Rodriguez, but if we took Rodriguez, we wouldn't have Lee Hunter. But I do identify
with what you're saying. If Cam Jackson works out to a degree.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And and as far as safeties, y'all, I kept 4 safeties: Scott, Wheatley, Mo, Rig, and Ransom. And I know a lot of people are going to say, what about Isaiah Simmons? I made the selective reasoning that Isaiah Simmons this year in camp, no, Isaiah Simmons hasn't shown up at linebacker. They haven't used him at linebacker all training camp. Not one snap, not one lineup. When they put a safety in the box, it's Mo Rig or Ransom. It is not Isaiah Simmons. Isaiah Simmons doesn't want to play linebacker. He wants to stay at safety, and that's where they like him. And yes, he can't cover. He just can't. He's good to tackler, but so far in training camp and preseason, he's really bad in coverage. So I had him cut in favor of keeping a corner who can cover. So that's my 53. Now that's my 50-man roster. Of course, you know the kicker the punter and the long snapper make 53. But y'all can make your own, and I encourage you to make your own and post them on your social media accounts. Or hey, send them to me, Cole, Diesel Skills, or D Money. We'll post them on this very website, on this very podcast. If you send them to us, we'll post them for you and talk about it. If you don't want to post it, we'll put them on the community board where we'll all chat about it.
Pickle, we might even slide a couple of people's predictions in on D1 show tomorrow night if they have them ready.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So y'all make.
I like everything you got going so far. That's
Right.
why I haven't really stopped you. I haven't seen anything
Right.
outlandish.
Right.
As much as we've been locked in and watching this, it looks like this is pretty much chalk to me.
Right.
I hate the Isaiah Simmons thing, but I'm right there with you, Pickle. I feel like he's on the fence. He's got to have a great game tomorrow, and that's what I want you to lead with now. Who needs to have a big game tomorrow in your eyes to stay on this roster and stay in contention to make that?
The guy I think that needs to have a big game to stay on the roster. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna say Bobby Brown. Bobby Brown clears a lot of cap if he's cut. He has virtually very little dead cap, and he clears a lot of money if you cut him. And I think if they sat down with Evero in the room and they said we're going to cut Simmons and Bobby Brown, I think Evero might get violent. Of course, I'd almost like to see a clip of that. I'd almost like to see a clip of that. But anyway, anyway, that being said, though, I would have to say John Mechie. Right now, y'all, let's be real. John Mechie and Reed are having one hell of a fight for that last spot.
They are.
The sixth wide receiver is between Reed and Mechie, and that's where the fight is right there. One of them will make it and one don't. Now, for a long time, I wanted to keep Reed because he was young. But I got to looking at it, and I said, now, wait a minute. Casey Washington, John Mechie, Elijah Cooks, and Rock Taylor. And Jason Reed, we all liked them guys, but there's four of them. So between those four, one of them want to clear waivers, right? So we can put one of them on our practice squad if they clear waivers. And John Mechie is a veteran. Since I still believe they're cutting David Moore, John Mechie will actually be our veteran on the team. And as far as that's my 53-man roster, guys.
You did a great job with that, buddy. I think that's pretty much straightforward and chalk to me, unless anybody's feeling different. Deez, how you feeling about his before I get to you with the next topic?
Pickle really hit the nail on the head with the John Mechie talk right there. Man, I think he's got to really do something tomorrow, Cole. I don't think that he can go out here and have an average game. I think he needs to take over the game like he did last Friday. Right. He needs that type of performance. Like him getting 30 yards is probably not going to end the way that Bryce Young wants it to. And that's something I've talked about before. Is Bryce going to vouch for John? Or is it just the only reason John's here is because he's good friends with Bryce, and that's how he got the opportunity? That could be the case in the reality of the situation. We listened to the presser earlier from Dave Canales. We saw how convicted he sounded on Jimmy Horn Jr. We know how much fans already like Jimmy, and we want him to be a part of this team. We saw the 40-yard run that he had on the gadget play. The guy is an asset to the Carolina Panthers offense. So we know Horn's in, but is Mechie in too? I don't really know. We saw him dominate that game last Friday, but can he do the same thing this week? I think it really does matter his performance tomorrow in my eyes, Cole. Otherwise, the 53-man roster, I know we're close. The only other point of contention that I've seen from other people, like D-Money was talking about, is Haynes King. Some think that he's going to get put on IR, PUP, or something where he's not available to play. Me and Pickle think he's going to be available to play. That's just what we think. We think we're going to work him in the offense later on down the road, not these first 4 weeks or anything before the bye, but after. And the other point of contention is Waller. It was Pickle that brought it up about Mike Kay saying that Waller was going to be put on the practice squad because he would clear waivers. But I feel like they're looking at him as tight end too, right behind Tommy Tremble as a receiving threat. So, but I don't think he can be picked up on waivers because he's older. You know what I mean? He's a vet. He's vested.
Yeah, he wants
to. So if we did that, nobody could touch him but us.
Right. Well, unless
that's such a weird thing. This is new. Well, break this down to me right quick because I don't understand this at all.
That's okay. Furthermore, they don't. He's a vested veteran, so if you've been in the league for a long time, you and you're an older veteran like he is. He's 33 years old or 35. I think he's 35. I think.
Right.
He doesn't have to clear waivers. So if we cut him, it'd be like Hunter Renfrow. He's free to go anywhere he wants.
Right.
And it would be up to him not to. And Hunter didn't want to go anywhere else. Hunter had opportunities from multiple teams. The Steelers called him again. The Raiders wanted him to come over, and he considered the Raiders. But in the end, he says, no, I'm not leaving home. And he didn't go anywhere else. Let's be real. Waller might not be that bad. Let me put it this way, y'all.
Yeah, I think some games he's going to start.
The Eagles' number 2 tight end is a rookie who ain't looked as good in camp as they hoped he would. So the Eagles are going to look for a tight end. And if you had the choice, give up a draft pick for Sanders or pick one up in waiver wires, or you could pick up and call Waller to come up and fill in for you.
I don't want to lose Waller.
Exactly. So, and I don't believe I personally, yes, Mike K brought it up, but I don't think that they brought him in a couple of days before camp, or a week before camp, just to cut him and put him on practice squad. I know they could do that, and it would help with keeping Sanders here. And there is some folks out there on Twitterverse who says, well, you have to keep Sanders here because when Waller goes by, we ain't got nobody to fill in for that role. That may be true. We've got folks who can fill in. They won't be as athletic as them two, but you can't keep an open roster spot just for that. You just can't do it. Again, Sanders has got to be one of these guys that comes out and has a hell of a game. And he's had opportunities all training camp. He just doesn't work out. Reed in the joint practice against the Texans, he actually started. He started in the slot and didn't get any touches, didn't get open. The team, the coaches are doing really good trying to give some of these young guys opportunities to shine. And they're just not doing it right now. They're just not. So we'll just have to Friday's today, y'all. Tomorrow you'll see and in my opinion, if you watch the game, you'll see who. And I mean, I don't think Waller's playing tomorrow.
No.
I think he's not going to play. I don't think he's in danger of getting cut. I think it's going to be the tight end room to me is going to be the biggest room that's going to be interested in to look at.
Sure. Just a couple different routes I could go, Pickle.
Right.
Deez, how you feeling about all of what Pickle just said with the roster and whatnot?
Yeah, because it's a weird situation. Your number one tight end's a blocking guy, Tommy Tremble, right? And the last guy in the room is a special teams guy that's not really expecting plays from on the field. Your number 2 wide receiver, in my opinion, Waller, is a guy that you want to go get receptions. And then number 3 is Evans, who is another blocker / receiver. So what it is a diverse room of talent, Cole. And what we've always seen in this offense is not really utilizing that talent to its fullest extent. A lot of times we saw the tight end standing wide open and Bryce didn't get to that read consistently. We've had this conversation before where it's not that Bryce didn't want to throw the ball to JT or Tommy. It's the fact that it was the fourth or fifth read in the system, and Bryce doesn't have that kind of time typically. You know what I mean? And he's looking somewhere else with the ball and getting it out in that 3 seconds that Dave Canales talked about. So, I mean, for me, Cole, moving forward, I would expect Waller to be a part of this team and a part of this offense. Now, I listened to an interview with him on the Mac and Bone show the other morning this week, and it really opened my eyes to why Darrell Bevell is here with the Carolina Panthers. Waller talked about how Bevell was a guy used as an analyst here for the Carolina Panthers.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Bevell is a guy that tells you the why, the when, the how of the offense working. Why is T-Mac open? Why is XL open? Why is Coker getting open downfield? It's an analytical thing that he's doing on offense, and he brought in a guy like Waller to execute those things because Waller already understands it in the film room behind the scenes. He already knows what this offense is trying to do, and it's just because he doesn't get up in front of the mic, you forget about Bevell being there. You forget about his influence. But Dave Canales mentioned it today, as a matter of fact. They've been together for a long time in Seattle. What he said that about Izzik, but it's true about Bevell too. So that's what's going on in this tight end room. You got lots of people there with multiple different skills, and you got the master of this offense, Izzik and Waller, working together for a specific goal of getting and scheming Waller open this offense. I think that's what we're going to see. They didn't show it because they're keeping the cards close to their vest, in my opinion.
Pickle, I think he's going to be a very solid red zone option. Even if the yardage ain't there with Waller, I think it adds another element to the offense, especially when we get down into the red zone. I would love to see some play action plays to him. And then as well with the play actions, I'm sure we can have some sets where we have multiple tight ends on the field. So that also gives the defense a different look, whether you want to run the ball or do it like a play action, like I said, and get Bryce to the edge and let him do his thing out there. Do you think that could be something that we can look forward to in this offense? And D's hit it right on the head with Bevell. I haven't forgot about that. I take that into consideration a lot of what I expect this offense to look like going forward, my friend.
Oh, absolutely, about Bevell. One thing to look at, during the joint practice with the Texans, Waller started at tight end. I think Waller is going to be the starting tight end.
I do too. Maybe sooner than later.
But I don't think you're going to see him take every single snap on every single offensive out there. I think there's going to be times when he's going to be in the slot and Tommy's going to be there, or times he's going to take a break and Tommy will be there.
We got to get Evans out there too, Pickle.
Oh yeah. Then speaking of Evans, there was a play in the joint practice against the Jags where Mitch Evans broke containment and caught a 50-yard pass by Bryce Young.
Type shit we need right there.
Now,
I like him a lot. I haven't given up on him, even with Waller being here. I like him a lot.
And y'all pay attention to Evans. Tommy's on a contract year. If they let Tommy walk, Mitch Evans is going to be our new Tommy.
I think that's going to be our guy going forward. Like long term, unless we do something different, draft or acquire one. But I have no problems with.
Well, I think at the very least, Mitch Evans is going to be our number 2 blocking style guy or number 2 guy. So
he's got pretty decent hands. I mean, I like him when he gets on open spaces. But yeah, he does his thing blocking, and that'll keep him on the field.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about this game tomorrow for a second. Let's do player of the games, and then we'll talk about what we got going on. We'll get up out of here. Diesel Skills, who do you think is going to be player of the game tomorrow, and do you see us winning?
Damn. I don't know. Can it be Claudin Chairless, or can it be Trevin Wallace? Can it please be one of those two? Please, guys. Please step up. Please have a good game. I don't know how much reps you're going to get. You're competing for the number 1 spot starting job. Maybe both of you don't play. And if it's not you, can it be Kuwatch? If it's not him, can it be Bam Martin Scott? Can it be a middle linebacker to play beside Devin Lloyd? That's who I want to see as player of the game tomorrow, Cole. I know that's not an exciting answer. It doesn't get you hyped up about watching the game. But that's what this defense really needs. Can we not shop the waiver wire? Can we answer our question of who starts beside Devin Lloyd? I cannot believe that we did that video so long ago for Invaders. Who starts behind Devin Lloyd? And we still don't know. We still don't know. And tomorrow is our last preseason game, and it's our 4th preseason game. Crazy. Insane. Man, you can't make this stuff up. I never would have guessed that we'd be here. And I want to see some good middle linebacker play. And I'm going to go ahead and say I hope it is Kuwatch. I hope it is. Give the 7th rounder a chance. He's looked good so far. He's trying hard out there. The guy's earned it. You know, Miami of Ohio, he didn't go to some big, nice, fancy school, you know what I mean, to make a bunch of NIL money or anything. I'm pulling for the underdog tomorrow, Cole.
I'm with you on that one. Pickle, I'm going to speak on behalf of you, D's, me, everybody, the whole podcast. I don't think we care which linebacker it is. If one of them were to come out here and get 10 tackles or something tomorrow like that and look dominant and look like somebody that could be serviceable, that's all we need at this point beside Devin Lloyd. I think that'll be a good thing going for us. Who are you feeling like for your player of the game, and do you see us winning tomorrow, my friend?
Our player of the game, I think we'll win the game. My player of the game for tomorrow, I think is going to be John Mechie. Because John Mechie has fought like hell to come back to where he was. He was drafted. He had the health scare. He had to fight like hell. He was traded from the Texans to the Jets. Then the Jets traded him to the Eagles. And then he finally hit free agency and he got to go where he wanted to go, which was back with his buddy Bryce. And I think it's going to be John Mechie, and I think John Mechie is going to be the player of the game. And I wouldn't be surprised if he don't have 3 touchdowns tomorrow.
Oh, he's trying to go off and get on this roster. I love it.
But if I may, I'm going to shout out some of this backup offensive lineman. Folks, we don't want Chandler Zavala or Stone Forsythe on this roster. Man the fuck up.
Somebody.
Perform, bust your ass. Knock some of these defensive linemen into the next year. They don't find people in preseason, by the way. So if you knock them completely out, they'll wake up tomorrow. And you'll still have a roster spot probably. So,
and get your helmet sticker. I love it.
Yeah. So let's snap through that shit.
Pickle, I'm going to stay with a hot hand, and I don't think this is going to go to a surprise of Diesel skills either. I'm going to go with my favorite running back in training camp. That's going to be Mr. Dillon. I want to see more short yardage situations where we lean on him. I want to see him in the red zone. I want to see him on the goal line. I think there is a role for him on this team, even if that is the only thing he does, and I feel like he can do a lot more than just that. I think A.J. Dillon is going to be a good answer for my player of the game. Defensively, I'm going to sneak it in here. I want to see more Wheatley. Wheatley's been having a great training camp. Every preseason game, he's been doing something. I'll go ahead and call my shot. He's going to get his first interception tomorrow. He ain't got an interception yet, has he? I think he's going to snag one tomorrow. He's been doing really good with the tackles, but I think he's going to get around the ball and make some plays. So I'm really excited about that. We have had an awesome show tonight, people. We are almost there. We got this game tomorrow. We got a week off. We got game week. And then that Sunday, we're getting down to it. Diesel skills. We got a lot going on between now and then. Let's just talk about the next week. What do we got going on, my friend?
Locked and loaded, man. Blue and Black Attack is on the charge. We got tons of shows for you. Been going live 3 times a week here. Well, we did 4 times a week last week, and probably will do 4 times a week again this week. That's why you haven't seen a video out from us in the last 2 weeks, because we've been live 4 times, and that's plenty. We're live more days than we're not here at the Blue and Black Attack. Don't forget that's Panther Pickle on Monday, the Cole Show on Thursday, and then Panthers Prime Time, hosted by D-Money on Friday. We threw a Blue and Black Attack live in there last week, and then this week we could do something on Sunday. I'm not going to go ahead and speak for Pickle's time now, but we could go live on Sunday this week for our 4th live show. Also, the Community Post each and every Wednesday evening. Come chat with us about the Carolina Panthers under our community tab on YouTube. Cole?
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, Panther Pickle. I want you to break us down this evening. Let's get up out of here and play that video when you're ready, my friend. I appreciate you being here with me tonight. I'll see y'all next week.
Absolutely. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. And y'all, we will be doing a video on. So we will be doing a live on Sunday.
I'm with it.
At 6 o'clock, the cutdown will arrive. We will go live before 6. Keep your eyes and ears open. It may be 5:30. It may be 4 o'clock. When the cut starts happening, we're going to pop up, go live, and talk about them as they happen.
Yes, sir.
Y'all keep pounding.
Keep pounding. We'll see you next week.
Oh, by the way, here's a sneak preview.
Oh, yeah, we're going to do a little something. Something's coming soon. We'll talk about it later.
Sails in tatters, the worst we rode in. This brotherhood matters. 10 losses behind us. They said we were done, but the flame kept burning under Carolina's sun. Down but not out, bed but not broken. Today we found out our spirit awoke in Lathan rose up when the moment arrived. Game ceiling pick. Now the Panthers are alive, crashing upon us. Waves tried to drown our flame. He redeemed his trust. He cleared his name from rock bottom Sunday to redemption today. The single blue flame lights the way. We ride the thunder. Shaking, reaching for the sky. Baker Mayfield scrambling, driving down the field, but Ransom read his eyes. Tampa's fate was sealed. 8-7 now, so first place we stand. Tampa Bay's 10-game streak buried in the sand. From 0-2 to this moment we've grown. The Buccaneers' reign ended. We reclaimed our throne. Electric in the stadium, 73,000 strong. Dave Canales smiling said we've had it all along. The power in our people, the fire in our hearts. From humble beginning, this is where glory starts. We ride the thunder. We crash the lightning. Crash the lightning. Storm clouds we're under. Storms surround us. These swells are frightening. Never backing down. Driving to compete. Always fighting. Born on this mission. Keep pounding nation. Blue black attack complete. Victory is ours. Our lighthouse remains in perfect condition. From the saints' heartbreak to redemption's embrace, one week can change everything in this race. Lathan Ransom standing tall when it mattered most. Intercepted destiny on Carolina's call.
All right.
Keep pounding.
Rest